Hi, this is Coach Chen from Uppercut Martial Arts Studio. Sorry for the long wait for this video because I've been busy with my arrangement for my vaccination. It's been 2 years since I've been locked down in my home, so a lot of changes. So let's talk about this video. Today we are going to talk about the application for the techniques for yellow green belt. So that's 4 techniques, but each technique is a combination of combined techniques. I would show you one of the first one for yellow green technique is raising out of warm block, obverse knife and slash, and sliding fixed stand punch, not sliding, sorry. So from this angle, please take note, this technique is meant to defend yourself against 2 persons, not 1, 2 persons. That is the reason why there is a diagonal knife and slash. The second technique is one leg ready stand, stationary side kick, and land with knife hand guarding block. One leg ready stand, stationary side kick, and land with knife hand guarding block. And the third one is circular block, front snapping kick with reverse punch. So it's circular block, front snapping kick, land with reverse punch. Now the last one is quite simple, which is twisting kick from the rear leg. So these 4 techniques are designed to prep the yellow-green belt students for their tests and move on to the next pattern 1U. So this is how I teach my students, prep them with the techniques so that they can move on and on quicker. But at the same time, I mentioned in my first yellow-green video, yellow-green belt is very unique because they are changing from the beginner's phase to a much advanced phase. Not the senior level yet, but it's much advanced phase because this belt ranking, the students are required to do free sparring as well. I have a lot of teaching content for each level, and in this level, actually they are supposed to be one-step sparring that is different from yellow belt, and so on and so forth in your future color belt ranking. The whole intention is that you teach the students to understand the techniques in each pattern so that they know the purpose of when they perform the pattern, instead of posing or making the technique looks nice. Alright, hence this is the reason why I try my best to create a video about application of the techniques so that the students, after watching it and when they perform the pattern, they will visualize them defending themselves against multiple enemies. So let's start with raising out of warm block. So there are 2 persons. If I'm using my left leg forward, the 2-person angle will be facing you this way. Hence, I'll be throwing raising out of warm block, and obviously the raising block is to defend against the second person's angle. It can be a knife, it can be a stick, it can be an overhead arm swing, it can be anything as long as the attack is from top to protect your head. And this out of warm block is to protect the second person, there's 2 persons, throwing a single punch to block or even turning kick. The application is up to your imagination. So when you perform that, 1, and obviously this angle, the second technique, obverse knife and slash, is for the first person, first attacker, block, attack the neck. Now this action, it depends on your reflexes, because there's one hand and the other hand leg here. So if you want to slash the first person, this hand, it can attack you or it may not, we do not know. And it doesn't make sense for me to push that hand away to slash, but instead you want to work with the second person that is throwing the punch. You open up, push that hand away so that the second arm doesn't attack me. Push them away while at the same time you slash that person on the neck. So the simulation is as such. And of course, after you attack the first person, you will attack the second person at the same time. So after this explanation, when you perform the technique again, you are attacking two person, defending against two attackers using this set of technique. Now, in real application, of course, there is no L stance or fixed stance. Fight stance as usual, but this scenario usually happens when they are standing very close. Okay? 1, 2, or at the same time, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, this application is possible. It depends on the angle and your reflex on your training, and it depends whether those persons are throwing exactly those techniques to enable you to perform this movement. But the whole idea of this fixed techniques is to give you suggestion of self-defense against multiple attackers. All right, and this is one of them. For example, during yellow belt, the yellow belt technique, first one is outer forearm block, reverse punch, to prep them to get into yellow-green belt. So this movement, as I explained, in application, you will not be performing both times. It's more effective to throw movement at the same time, block and punch at the same time. So when you think about this application for this technique, 1, 2, you'll be moving very close, hand is always up, never drop, block both hands if you can, not waiting for them to come, you go after them before they finish their attack. Now, I may look seems like struggling to perform this technique because it's not a fixed thing, and hence when you want to apply this technique for yellow-green belt one-step sparring, it's only one person. We won't be doing once versus two person to perform this technique. But what you can do is, against one person, you can divide this application into two parts, right? The first one is attacker 1, 2, and the second one is attacker swinging 1, 2. So you can translate this movement into one-step sparring so that they understand the application of this technique, and when they learn the new pattern, once they pass a green belt for 1U, they will see or visualize two person in front, and the movement is purposeful in this sense. All right, so I hope you follow the combination for the first one. The second combination of yellow-green belt technique, one leg ready stand, side kick, knife and gun and block. Now, this is a very simple and straightforward combination. The reason why we lift our leg, as we were taught, is to avoid someone from sweeping your leg, or in some cases, some of you might find it familiar, low roundhouse. So hence we have a front leg to lift and avoid. Now, to lift and avoid, as in traditional instructor when they explain, is to avoid, but in practical term is by luck, whether you can read that person's low sweep correctly, accurately, and you can avoid in time, and this will actually leads me to explain how to avoid low sweep or low roundhouse. Okay, low roundhouse is a full body swing commonly seen in Muay Thai or even K1 kickboxing. and the person, the defender who raised the leg to block, they do not raise the front leg to avoid. They never do that because it's very hard to read that attack. All right, and usually what they do is they just block. The impact is less on the shin, you can still operate, than the impact on your thigh muscle that they most likely will disable your kicking leg in certain time frame. All right, usually first time it won't happen. It has to happen multiple times when they kick the same sword over and over again, and you will limp. You can't kick. You don't have a foundation, and even your punches will be weakened. So that's why we have this blocking, punching, retaliate, and so forth. The other way is to just step back when the low sweep comes. This avoiding is much practical, and because you distance yourself against the attacker and you have more time to actually see, okay, what am I going to do next, and so on. So this comes with multiple ideas, and for you to spar with someone with one leg raised, it's not really for avoiding, depending on luck. Sometimes it does happen, but mostly for blocking. All right, now, but in our teaching for one leg ready slant, the side kick part is tricky because it only works when you avoid. Someone sweep, you avoid, then when you kick the side kick, it's much practical. But when you block and you want to throw the side kick, you have to be really fast to do that. I didn't say it's impossible, it's possible, but you have to be really fast with that leg. For that example, then the knife hand block is not really for any purpose, because usually what you finish throwing that side kick is continuation of punches, or you just move away instead of throwing the knife hand to wait for a second attack. All right, so your imagination is very wide in any sort of application from the pattern. So don't just think of, okay, I'm going to do this pattern. I perform well, my form is good, I have a good exercise. Of course, that's our priority in training pattern. But when you understand the application and when you perform the pattern, it's more purposeful. You feel like you're doing something, you can visualize you're defending yourself against multiple attackers. All right? So that takes care of technique number 2. We're going to move on to technique number 3. You can see I'm panting because I just took my second jab of AZ, and I don't know, after my COVID period in January, my lung is still stuck. I can't really breathe smoothly. Maybe it's scarring, maybe I need more time to recover, but this is where I'm at when I'm training. I cannot control my breath. My lung capacity is not as good as they used to be. All right, it's like their capacity is just strong. But never mind. The third technique, circular block. All right, front kick, reverse punch. Now, in circular block, we were taught to block against a front kick. Now, from the side, of course, not from the front, because why would we block a front kick this way? It looks weird. But from the side, it's kind of, we are directing that front kick one circle and push it away from the side. To be honest, no matter how I think of it in practical terms, I can't do it. The front kick is so fast and so forceful. By the time I start swinging my hand, the leg is already on my body or on my face. Alright? So there are multiple situations. Sometimes it does happen, maybe the leg is slow or touching certain part of your body and you are able to guide that leg away. Yes, maybe. In what situation, I don't know. But the whole point is the function and application of this circular block. That's why there's a word circular. But after a while that I keep dwelling or watching some videos, I realized there's one thing we can explain for circular block. which actually does not explain in the encyclopedia. That means this circular block can be used as a leg lock. Leg lock, yes. All right. Assuming this is the leg that is going to kick me, all right? You actually see this in some of the full contact sport, but they don't really lock, they catch, all right? Now, the common thing is when they throw turning kick or roundhouse, turning kick is actually a snapping action, roundhouse is a full force action. So when they take the turning kick or roundhouse, full force, the leg stays in the body, on the body for a while, and this is when the circular block comes to lock. See that clearly? Kick, lock, and that person is standing on one leg. And from here I can front kick, snap, punch while locking on your leg, or throw. This convinced me even more than using circular block to block against a front kick. So this is the passion that I have in not just Taekwondo, in all forms of martial art, to find out what are these techniques for. Because to be honest, I was never fully explained on each technique in Taekwondo for pattern. They will just show you the steps, the way to execute the technique, but they do not explain application. So when you have this image in your head, block, front kick, punch. So it gives you another scenario. Wan Yu means the monk who introduced Buddhism into Korea. We are locking, we are kicking and punching. I visualize it as a Shaolin martial art monk, warrior monk. To this action. It's very interesting, hence making the pattern Wan Yu very interesting when you perform. You're locking two persons, they're throwing roundhouse, turning kick towards your body, and you're taking it, you're locking it and fight back. So the situation is very interesting for this case, all right? So there's three techniques for yellow green belt. If you explain successfully and they can visualize it, when they watch the videos on other full contact fight sport, they will understand we are capable of doing full contact as well. The techniques is there, it's in the pattern. We just have to interpret it and make it ours in this case. So for example, usually when you take the roundhouse palm, you will just train and condition your abs, of course not the rib cage, and take the hits, lock it, then sweep. All right, so there is a lot of application you can mix and match to make your techniques from the pattern more meaningful, more interesting when you perform the pattern. All right, and the last one, twisting kick for application. Now this is not easy to explain, but very interesting, because I read somewhere that twisting kick is the signature kick for Taekwondo. We are the first martial art to create this twisting kick. All right. Later on, now a lot of martial art are having this, but twisting kick is very interesting. Of course, we all know when we perform going for the test for 5th Dan, there is a power test called jumping twisting kick, which is it's not a must-do thing, but it's mostly done there because it's special technique when you want to go for 5th Dan. So of course, when you perform twisting kick, you're kicking from the ball of the foot to the unexpected side of the attacker's body or face. So twisting kick, you see that I align here behind the target and I kick low because I want to illustrate you can kick the inner thigh of that person. Now, using my back leg, I will have a lot of force, but of course we do not kick with the ball of the foot, we kick using the instep to slap. With that kind of force, it doesn't actually create a lot of pain, but it creates a lot of surprise and shock. And their thinking at that moment will be, what is that? It's not painful, it's just, what is that? That is when you continue your combination for sparring, okay? But of course you can kick the body or the face. So twisting kick is very unique because when you perform this technique, you have to stand at full to half facing, full to half facing, to get that angle right. And this movement is quite surprising to anyone who use it, to see it first time when they spar. And it's even more effective when you use twisting kick, using your front leg to surprise your opponent, because you kick, your hands is free, you can do a lot of things. Okay, so hence these are the 4 techniques, application that is my interpretation. You can think about it, make a comment below this video, and we'll discuss more to expand the possibility of each techniques. Where else can we use them on? All right, so this will conclude the application part for yellow green belt techniques, and the next video will be the first video. I will be starting a new playlist for free sparring, where in my Taekwondo school, I would like the yellow green belt to start experiencing what is free sparring. Okay, I will explain more in that video. So thanks for watching the video. I will see you next time. Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to my video. Thank you. Bye bye.